4 to 10
Inquisitional Acolytes,
0 to 2 Gun Servitors, 0 to 2 Mystics, 0 to 1
Servitors, I really feel like it should be able to be swapped out for a Gifted Delta and Slash Warp Plasma.
Hey everybody, this is Space Marine Steve from Play on Tabletop. I'm here on the deck of Hyperspace Hobbies with my good friend Ian. What's up, my man?
Hello, how you doing?
You know, I'm doing pretty good. Today, we're actually diving deep into the Imperial nonsense. I saw a couple of comments on some of our recent videos kind of asking for like a dive into what allies kind of look like. And for the most part, Imperials are like, aside from Chaos, Imperials do the most allying. And they've got this like rich list of things that they can ally. And so today what's going to happen is we're going to go into the like other allies, not the assassins. We're going to do that later this week, so tune in later for that. But we're going to go into what we see usually in like a competitive setting, what kind of allies get picked most often. And then we're also going to take a look at just like some of the, you know, at least one of the ones you never see.
The rare ones, the oddities.
The oddities.
That exist that are kind of fun and might actually boost up some of these units.
Yeah, totally. So that's what we're going to do today. However, if you have been liking all of our 40K chats, please like, subscribe, comment, join the conversation. We love talking 40K and we want to do it with you. The other allies.
Yes, the non-assassins.
The non-assassin allies, the ones that you kind of see all over the place. We're going to start with like the two big ones. And the first one is the Voidsmen at Arms. And I see this peppered around in competitive lists here and there. Honestly, they're just a very cheap little unit.
Yeah, that's all they're there for. They're just if you have spare points at the end of your list and you don't want to move anything around in your list and you have, what are they, 50 right now?
Yeah.
Currently 50 points for the Voidsmen at Arms.
Yep.
You can throw them into a list and they fill a role that you can't get for 50 points, which is just more bodies.
Yeah, totally.
It's hard to argue that you could move up in points and just get some of the tastier Space Marine options.
Yeah.
But that's not what we're focused on today. We're kind of more focused on how these things work on the battlefield, why are people taking them, and why you might be wanting to take them.
Yeah. They're effectively an Imperial Guardsman with a 4-up save.
Yep.
Like, so toughness 3, move 6, 4-up save, 1 wound, OC 2, which is great. Crappy leadership, though. Leadership 8.
Yeah, not the best.
Not the best.
But let's be real. If something's going to shoot at them, they're probably dead anyways.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter. And then they basically have like a set of las guns. One of them can take like an artificer shotgun, which is like inexplicably damaged too, but sort of hilarious.
Yeah, that's kind of interesting. They can also take a Voidsman Rotor Cannon, which is heavy sustained hits 1. It does hit on 5s, which is brutal.
It's brutal.
But it is 6 shots with devastating wounds.
And their ability, Master of Close Confines, basically gives them the lethal hits ability whenever they're shooting at the closest thing.
Right, they can have a cute little pup.
They can have a puppy that has like a vicious bite or something like that. Ultimately, this unit should be nowhere near combat, nowhere near shooting range, nowhere near anything that any of its abilities say that it should be able to do.
Yes, they should be in the back line, screening stuff out, because they are technically a risk if your opponent gets like no prisoners.
Oh, yeah.
Or it's a mission where it requires your opponent to make some kills, then forget about it. These guys are target number 1.
The only other thing that you can sort of do it, but I think that most armies have like a better option for that, is you could toss them into strategic reserves and then use them to like come off the side of the table, maybe do one of the actions or something like that.
Yep, they have options for that.
Yep, they've got options for that. So it's not phenomenal, but if you do need to run somewhere with them too, like if you give them that artificer shotgun, it does give them the assault keyword. So they can advance, they can do an action. Sure. I still don't ever want them doing that.
No.
I just don't.
If they do anything, it's going to be advance and throw grenades, which is a keyword that they have.
Yeah, totally. If you're ever scrolling through Beskos pairings or you're looking at tournament results online and you see a list that has like Voidsmen at Arms in it, all that they're doing is using it to screen the back corner. They're using it just in case they pull investigate signals, and they can investigate signals in the back corner.
Absolutely.
Right? And they just need to hold that back objective. And it's because they're probably playing a list that is so elite in its their unit choices and options. They needed these to do these kinds of like really menial battlefield tasks.
Yeah, a lot of like Grey Knight lists because most like their cheapest thing is still really expensive.
Yeah.
A lot of them throw in a unit or two just like this for the reason to hold back objectives,
Exactly.
screen, and do those actions in the corner because you need to make every unit that you have that you're paying big points for do what they're supposed to do on the battlefield.
Exactly.
You can't have them jumping in the back and deploying, some stupid device.
Exactly. Also, I've seen these popular in Imperial Knights lists before.
Oh yeah, I can see that.
Because the Imperial Knights list will have like 2 or 3 of the big knights and then like 3 of the little knights. And you need those like 6 knights to do work every single turn. And what you can't do is have one of them investigate signals.
Yeah, no, that would just, you'd lose so much firepower.
Yeah.
And so much potential on the battlefield. It
Yeah.
would be a loss. However, if you're ever playing them and you see these kind of units on the battlefield, it would be intelligent to try to take them out early if you can, because then it neutralizes their ability to get off some of those secondary objectives.
Exactly. All right, so the next one that I see often in Imperial lists that are like kind of like skulking around tournaments with Imperial allies is the Inquisitorial Henchmen squad. And there's kind of like 2 ways to take this squad. The first way is very similar actually to the Voidsmen at Arms that we just talked about.
Yep.
Where you just take them as cheap as chips, right? As cheap as you could possibly get them, and they are screening your back objective, like the corner. They are doing actions if you need them to. They're like very little, like their bases are very small, so you can kind of sneak them off the sides of the table if you really want to like strategic reservice them, if that's what your game plan is.
They are, however, saving throw of 5, but have 2 wounds and leadership 7. So there's a little bit of a difference, but really not much.
Yeah, they're still not good.
No.
Like, ultimately, these things are going to die.
They're not rushing the front lines.
No.
However, the Inquisitorial Henchmen are very customizable.
Oh, they can have, like, everything in them. It's insane.
Yeah, they can have too much.
They can have too much. Like, they can have between 4 and 10 Inquisitorial Acolytes, and then they can have 0 to 2 gun servitors, so you can have like the servitors with the multi-meltas. They can also have mystics, and mystics are really cool. They're kind of like a pseudo psyker. And then they can have a Jokro weaponsmith. They're still angry.
Yeah, it's still pretty good.
The Jokro weapons are like shoots 3 times, hits on 3, strength 6, AP 1, 2 damage.
Not too bad at all. And they can also take 0 to 1 demon hosts.
Sure,
But
yeah.
they all essentially do nothing unless you take an Inquisitor with the squad. The Inquisitor unlocks their powers, but you don't have to take all of them. You can kind of pick and choose from the list and take whatever you want.
They're so customizable that it's actually confusing to play. Like when you open up the app and you try and like equip the squad, the app doesn't even know how to equip it.
Yeah, it like shorts out. The main thing that we're seeing is just 4 Inquisitorial Acolytes.
Yes, you just take 4 Inquisitorial Acolytes because they're like 40 points, and then they sit on back objectives. They do little actions for you. However, there is a really fun thing that you can do with them. So if you take them with a Mystic, so if you put a Mystic in the squad, and then you actually put an Inquisitor with them, the Mystic gives you a like Space Marine Infiltrator style bubble.
Yes.
Right? And the bubble is like a 12-inch denial deep strike zone. And so if the goal is to screen your backfield, this like little squad of guys, they're slightly more expensive than just a regular infiltrator squad, but that bubble is huge. And if your army doesn't naturally have access to an infiltrator squad, that's excellent. Like Grey Knights will get nothing but mileage out of this, right? Imperial Knights, nothing but mileage, right?
You only get the 12-inch bubble from the Mystic.
Yes, exactly.
You don't get it from the unit, but you can have 2 Mystics in that unit. And if it's 16 models and you just have Mystics on either end, that 12-inch bubble is going to actually be pretty big.
And annoying.
Yeah, very annoying for one squad. I don't know what the points actually add up to at the end of all that. It's probably maybe not worth it.
The problem is like they're never going to do anything. Like that's why I think like the way, much like the Voidsmen at Arms, even if you gave them like 2 servitors with like multi-meltas or plasma cannons or something, and then you put the Dokuro weaponsmith in there, I don't even think that's worth it.
I mean, you can do this stuff, and it's fun if you want to do that and have like a cool and big mob of Inquisitorial boys, but let's face it, they're just supposed to be 4 guys for cheap that hide in the back and try to pump out actions.
Sick! One of them can take an eviscerator!
Yeah, they're not doing any heavy lifting.
No, they're
but
not.
The heavy lifting they do is in their point cost and in their ability to just be a tiny little unit you can tuck away in the corner.
We could go over some of the other Imperial Agent like squad data sheets, but they're all like so not good.
Yeah, they all just fit such a weird role, and the role isn't going to be anything that your army can't do already.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like if you wanted to do an entire army that was based off of this, Index became an entire army, you could do it, but those would be your battle line units.
Oh.
However, you don't want to make them your battle line units. You don't want to make them a staple in your regular Space Marine list. They just don't have what it takes to keep up and survive. And they're expensive for being a distraction unit. I think the 2 units that we've covered are the ones that you're probably going to want to take for the reasons that we've mentioned. They're just action monkeys and screening.
But if you are interested in hearing about the other data sheets that are inside the Imperial Agents book that aren't just Inquisitors or Assassins, we're going to very quickly montage that for you right now. Cyber Mastiff. Why can all of these just take dogs?
Yeah, that just doesn't make any sense.
Oh, this one makes battle shot. Oh, it's within 3 inches.
Yeah.
Actually, these ones aren't bad. They have a 5-up feel no pain. Yeah, they're only 1 wound, 4-up save.
They're 110 points.
They're 110 points?
The Subductor squad actually looks pretty cool.
Yeah, it's not horrible. Whenever they die on a 4-up, they get to fight. So they have a 4-up invul, which is great.
And a 3-up save.
Yeah. And they're like clearly like a close combat unit. How strong is the attack? Oh, it's strength 4.
No, strength 4. That sucks.
Imperial Naval Breachers. Look at the weapons they can have.
Yeah, it's a lot.
That is a lot. Oh, they can have shields too. Oh, one of them has a shield. One of them has a shield.
Okay.
They get an extra dice whenever they do grenades.
And they got the smoke keyword.
Hey, okay.
They can pop smoke.
Oh my god, one of them can have a chain fist. The chain fist is 1 attack. It hits on 5s. Why? What sucks most about this is that it can get into no transports. Why won't they just give Imperial Agents chimeras?
Yeah.
Why?
If they had the ability to take a chimera, you'd probably see them on the battlefield.
Rogue Trader Entourage.
Ooh.
Oh, they get to redeploy units. That's kind of nifty. And that guy's got a feather in his hat.
Imperium battle line units. So they can only redeploy battle line units.
Only battle line units, but it's still all Imperium, which is pretty sweet.
It is after both players have deployed, so it's not the really, really tasty kind of redeploy once
right after you know whose
turn it is.
Yeah.
But
however, though, what's tasty about this is, let's say you played Space Marines and you were playing the Storm Strike Task Force or whatever it is, and you make all the Outriders battle line, so you could like D3 redeploy Outrider squads and be like, whoa,
that's super creative. Right? Yeah, that's really interesting.
And you could D3. You could do it to like the like 6-7 man biker unit with the chaplain.
Holy.
Redeploy the chaplain if you wanted to. Monomolecular cane rapier is one of their melee weapons. It's 4 attacks.
That's
kind of
really
sick.
Cool sounding weapon.
It's a cane rapier. It's out of his cane.
These guys are pretty fancy. 4-man unit.
It's 4 dudes.
And they join a squad. They give the squad feel no pain 5.
Which is cool. They can join just Navy Breachers and Voidsmen at Arms. So they can't join regular just battle line units.
Right.
So they can only join those 2. However, you could just take them like as is. Just take like 4 dudes in crazy hats.
just for the D3 redeploy?
Just for the D3. They're 105 points.
No way.
It's not worth it.
Not worth it. 105. Get out of here.
Get out of town. Wow.
No chance.
They infiltrate. The 4 of them with their crazy hats infiltrate.
Who cares? Why would you want these guys anywhere closer than they should be? Like, they should just be in the back. 105 points. No. but they can't take a dog, and that's why I think you probably shouldn't. You should avoid having them.
If it can't have a dog,
they
why
can't
take
have
it
a
in the
cyber
Imperial?
mastiff.
I want, or a Canis, whatever it is.
Sure.
Right? Like, honestly, I think a Robo Corgi would have been a really good choice for
Or like
them.
a Chihuahua in a bag
Sick.
that shoots like a las cannon out of its eye.
Out of its eyes.
The Chikiro weapon Chihuahua.
Oh no, a Jokero weapon Chihuahua. So we're going to talk about some of the key Inquisitors that we've seen in people's lists, just kind of like floating out there in the universe. And the first one is Lord Inquisitor Kyra Draxus. So this is the newest Inquisitor that's come out, I believe, and it's the one that's got like the little dragon on her
It's
shoulder.
actually a pretty cool model, and it benefits a lot of the squads that we're talking about in a really interesting way. It stops your opponents from shooting you while you're within 18 inches if you pass a psychic test,
which is
on
rad.
a 2+. If you roll a 1, some guys take some wounds, not a big deal. It's not going to be this character. It's going to be guys in the squad.
Totally.
But on a 2+, you cannot be targeted if you're within 18. If you combo that with having a mystic in that Inquisitorial Henchman squad, all of a sudden you have a 12-inch bubble of no deep strike and an 18-inch bubble of cannot be shot.
Which is wicked.
Which makes them, it puts them in the maybe too expensive, but awfully difficult to get off the table.
Yeah, especially if you're sitting at the back of the board with them and you really want to try and like push people back. I think if the rest of your army is playing like an offensive game and then Kyra can just sit in the back with Inquisitorial Henchmen and zone the backfield along with just like, you can't shoot me.
The shooting profile, not so bad. 4 shots, hitting on 3s, strength 4, damage 2, anti-infantry 4 with devastating wounds, which is actually pretty solid. And Psychic Tempest, indirect fire, psychic sustained, hits 2, which is awesome. 18-inch, 6 shots, hitting on 3s, strength 6, damage 2. The indirect fire and the sustained hits 2 on that can actually get pretty tricky because you don't want this unit to be seen. You'd still like them to affect the battlefield. Yeah. You can do some 18-inch out of line of sight, and on 6s, right? You're still counting. You're racking it up.
Yep, totally can.
And when you're rolling 6 dice,
it's not horrible.
Yeah.
Right. And you can also put her in squads because she's an Inquisitor. She doesn't just have to go inside the Inquisitorial Henchman squad. She can also go into just any Imperium battle line unit. Right. So if you want to, like, you could put her in all kinds of other stuff too. You could put her in a squad of like Gravis dudes.
Yeah, and hide them in the back, and then nobody can shoot them within 18 inches.
No. Yeah. Hilarious.
Which is actually kind of cool.
You could even put her in a unit of like guardsmen, put them in a chimera, and just have her like smash out of the chimera with all of her attacks.
Yeah.
Right?
Another way to keep a soft unit
safe. You could, there's like lots of things you could actually do with her. And I think that for her cost, she's like a reasonable like shoe in for when you just need a little bit of like something extra in one of your Imperium lists.
Something that you can't get anywhere else.
Ultimately, the Inquisitors are not particularly popular right now. My favorite is clearly Inquisitor Karamazov, the guy inside the walking desk.
This guy used to be insane. He used to be able to drop orbital bombardments
like on himself.
On your units that are in combat. Which was such an interesting rule because he's just like, I don't care who you are, what's going on. I just want to orbital bombard stuff.
And like, look, and he's so ridiculous. He's like, he's got a big chair with legs,
and he's got a little. Who is this dude? Just chilling here, right?
The guy that does all his paperwork. Yeah. There's actually the lore story behind the guy that does all the paperwork is actually really funny. He like chained the guy to his desk as like a punishment because like I pretty positive that the guy that's chained to Karamazov's desk, his wife at like a work event, like minorly offended him. And it was like so minor. And he was like, that does it. And he like took her husband and like had him fully servitorized and then chained him to a desk to fill out all his paperwork. And he's like, yeah, what do you think about that?
That guy is very petty.
Very petty. He like that. No one brings him. Like no one wants his, like they don't invite him to the meetings anymore because his only solution is, well, I guess we just level the planet. It's the only thing that he comes up with.
Okay, at least that fits his lore of like being able to orbital bombard your own guys.
Yeah, he's like, well, I guess we'll just exterminate us all. And everyone's like, we need a little bit more of a delicate touch. And he's like, I don't think there is one.
18-inch, 3-shot, strength 10, mastercrafted multi-melta is pretty nice though. That's a good amount of firepower.
Yeah, I mean, it is Melta 3, which is hilarious.
It is 3 Melta guns all stacked. I can just see that guy writing down like, I miss my wife. I really miss my wife. I really miss my wife. That bitch put me here.
And then he's just like, shut up.
Are you writing? What are you writing? Yeah, keep it up.
Keep it up. So much paperwork. Yeah. Plus, I want to know, do you think he goes to the lunchroom in the desk? I love the idea of him like walking to the break room fridge with the desk.
Well, I bet he's got a little mini fridge on that one side. Just under the multi-melta wrist. What do we got?
He's like, looking at it. He's like, ooh, Pepsi.
There's no prime in here. Bomb them!
Thank you, everybody, for joining us for another talk here at Hyperspace Hobbies. I'm, of course, Space Marine Steve. This is my good friend Ian. Please like, subscribe, comment, join the conversation, and we will see you next time on Hyperspace Hobbies.